If you haven't been keeping up with your mailbox in Wuthering Waves, if you open it up, you'll find that you actually have a player satisfaction survey ready to go, sent from you from Yang for version 2.5 of Wuthering Waves. I do have some strong thoughts about the structure of this version. There's a lot of good. There's also, I think, quite a bit of bad, and I think some reflection that we can maybe have when it comes to the organization of certain patch activities to ensure that future Wuthering Waves versions are the best that they could possibly be. So let's go ahead, let's get on into the questionnaire. All right, this is just like the initial sort of disclaimer that every single one of these surveys ends up having. Let's just click start, get right through it. Please let us know your age. I always lie on these. I'm always off by 1 to 3 years. So far, how would you rate your overall experience in Wuthering Waves version 2.5? New content includes, well, the main quest, all of that stuff, and the Overture quest and all of that. Very dissatisfied to very satisfied. I would say I'm at an overall satisfied. There would be a couple of things that would push it all the way over to the edge, and there's a couple of things holding it back from that maximum score. But I will say the good does outweigh the bad in this situation, and if the good wasn't as good, it would be closer to neutral for sure. Based on your experience in the current version, how satisfied are you with the following? Story, very satisfied. World exploration, overall satisfied. I think the new area could be a little bit bigger. Environment visuals, I think they did a good job over here. And then music and sound effects, very good. However, there's some stuff in the patch that I am looking towards this end for. Based on your experience in the current version, how satisfied are you with the following? Combat, performance optimizations, resonator visuals, and resonator building. If we're thinking about just terms of combat in the design of the new characters, I would say Frolova does feel pretty good to me, pretty fresh. But unfortunately, when it comes to the design of like the combat events that are in this update, I'm going to have to say very dissatisfied because they don't exist. I'm going to assume that this is for Frolova. And so I'm going to put very satisfied over here. And if the combat events come up again, yeah, that's when we'll put very dissatisfied. That's just my reasoning. That's my thought process over here for this one. Next up, we got performance optimizations. I mean, I would say overall satisfied. I don't think I noticed the game running worse than the game in the new area does run particularly well. The game's always ran pretty decently on my PC, except for like some shader cache optimization things that occur like when the patch begins. So there's a bit of initial lag over there. But yeah, I mean, it's not too bad for me. But I guess some people, maybe they wish Septimont was a little bit more optimized, but I think they've instituted quite a few changes. Resonator visuals. I would say overall satisfied. I do think that, like, Frolova, some of her effects can get very, let's just say, messy. For example, when I'm running the Frolova, Cantarella, and Rosia team, and I'm, like, playing Cantarella, and I'm beginning to, like, enter Delusive Dive, and then start using, like, Perception Drain, and then all of the attacks, and then I throw in Cantarella's Liberation, I cannot see what is going on. I don't think anyone can see what is actually going on. You combine Cantarella, Frolova together, and you will just get a fucking, like, a literal storm of, like, Hecate-enhanced attacks with, like, Cantarella jellyfishes and, like, Perception Drain explosions. You can't actually tell what's going on, and God forbid the boss does a unparryable attack, because I think you're pretty much guaranteed to get hit if that occurs, because you will not be able to see the attack happening. So yeah, I think that maybe like some lower visual like messiness could be something to think about when you are having best in slot teammates with each other, right? Know what the visual effects are in the other side, and, you know, kind of maybe just tone down across the board so we can actually see what's going on. Resonator building, I would say overall satisfied, because I think the systems are great, but Nightmare Purification Fields, where you farm Frolova's pieces, right, her 3-piece set, I think those need some updates to incorporate some sort of wayplate tuner thing. Based on your experience in the current version, how satisfied are you with following? Okay, okay, perfect. I'm glad that we put very satisfied with the combat, and so that we can go ahead and put very dissatisfied for events and challenges and co-op experience. I think the UI design is great. I'm thinking about it from the perspective of the new Echo management system. I think that's good. I think there's a couple of things they can iron out with it, but it's a great first stab. But co-op experience, what are you talking about? Why is this even on here? Is this like an IQ check for the players? Because if they don't put very dissatisfied, do they just throw the survey away? That's something that actually makes sense to me, right? This seems like a IQ check, because there was not a single co-op event in the update. There was no co-op, actually, in the update. And so you should just put very dissatisfied, because co-op in this game is actually fun, and they just refuse to put in the co-op hologram event again. When there's like over a 2-3 update break between the co-op hologram event, like, I think that that's just a miss. I should be justified in putting very dissatisfied, because that event has not come up again when it is some of the most fun you can have in the game. Because you can solo it, just do it yourself. It's a new type of boss fight, that's great. And you can play it with your friends or in random matchmaking co-op, and it's some of the most fun you can have. And in a patch like 2.5, where there were no combat events, none, bringing back the co-op holograms would have been like a great way to just solve both of these. Because now you got like a fun activity for people to do when there's not that many updates to have. And it's like when there's not that many like events to experience. And it's replayable. You can just log in and then for fun, at a random point of the day, just decide to queue up for a co-op challenge. Because there's a ton of people going in and then just playing it for fun. Because it's fun playing this game with other people. That's my rant. That's why I've been like alluding to it for so long, and I'm glad it came up early, because this patch would have been very close to a 8 to 9 out of 10 if it had those combat events. But because it doesn't, I do think like the patch as a whole lies between like the 6, ironically enough, to like the 7, because the story is really good. But if the story wasn't in this patch, this would be like a 4 or 5 out of 10. Maybe even a 3, if we're frankly being honest. Because there's like not that much to do if you actually like playing this game. What do you think about the amount of playable content? Insufficient. Yeah, I'm here to play Wuthering Waves, not fucking Plants vs. Zombies or whatever the fuck that Echo event is. Yeah, and yes, I liked Overflowing Palette or Overflowing Photo, whatever that shit is, but that's also, like, I don't get to, like, hit stuff. There was not really Wuthering Waves content in this update. How would you rate the following for the Fabricatorium of the Deep? Environment visuals, world exploration. I would say very satisfied for the visuals. I think it actually looks great. I would say the exploration could be a little bit more lively. There could have been, like, more mobs, more unique sort of interactions. Like, it gets done and over with relatively quickly, and it does feel like a bit more of an instanced area. It's cool that it's there, but it's also like, you know, I do want to see it expanded on in the future, and we'll probably come back. Why is Fabricatorium of the Deep satisfying? I like the architectural style. I don't think the enemy types are really that interesting. The color scheme is pretty cool. The style is also distinct. It feels like a Fraxidus tile set, which is nice. It makes for an excellent, I don't think it's excellent, but the design is refreshing. I like the landscape, the landmarks, and the environmental design. I like the vegetation. I mean, coral's cool, right? I guess coral is neat. How would you rate the following for the Shards of the Beyond? And this is the Lost Beyond over here. And so, yeah, I'm blocking it a little bit, but I moved my camera. Environment visuals. I mean, I think that's a very satisfied. This place looks fucking sick. I didn't know Kuro Games was going to be so accurate in modeling Britain in their game. This is a great follow-up to see, especially after Honkai Star Rail 3.4 and the smashing success that Hoyoverse had in making their version of Britain. So I'm glad that Wuthering Waves decided to follow in the footsteps of a superior developer and do the same thing. Why is the Shard of the Lost Beyond very satisfying? The color scheme's cool. Architectural style actually does feel like very sort of like traditional fantasy homey, which is nice. The vegetation, the landmarks. I like the many different types of NPCs. It actually does feel like, ironically enough, one of the more alive places in the game, even though everyone there is dead. That's kind of like a nice little juxtaposition, right, with what's actually going on. The design is pretty refreshing, and the theme is pretty similar to Frolova. I wouldn't say the style is necessarily distinct from other regions. I think that it just feels like an offshoot of Raguna. Not Septimont, but like Rinascida Raguna. And yeah, that's kind of like the main thing. I like the landscape as well. So yeah, it's got some good elements to it for sure. Next up, how satisfied are you with the orchestration altar? It's okay. It's like an alright puzzle. It's not like something where I was going ahead and I was just like, man, this is really changing my perception on puzzles or just gameplay in general. It's alright. You gotta think a little bit. It's better or it's worse than ZZZ puzzles? No, ZZZ puzzles are you clicking a button 10 times. Like, I'm pretty sure you could give ZZZ's puzzles in their open world to an untrained monkey, and they'll figure out how to solve it. Yeah, if the monkey knows how to use a mouse, they'll be able to do the ZZZ puzzles. I think that's, like, guaranteed. So yeah, I'll just put neutral, because I don't think it's anything groundbreaking. But it's not, like, awful or bad. Why is orchestration alter not satisfying? You only do it 3 times, and it's done relatively quickly, and you can forget that you even did it, like, a week after the patch. It seems like a temporary and or gimmicky add-on when previous puzzles could have been used in a similar way. Yeah, that's my viewpoint on it, is it feels like kind of gimmicky. It feels like kind of gimmicky to me because you only did it 3 times. And then you might, like, never ever do it again. And to me, that's just sort of like, it seems like kind of like an odd thing to do. To have it only during the story quest. And then, like, that's, like, your main exposure to it. Maybe there's actually a couple of them hidden in the open world, and that's why I'm feeling this way about it. But it's just, like, it's exclusive to the zone, and then it's also, like, well, I mean, it would have maybe been more interesting to see, like, some continuity from some of the puzzles in, like, Renacida. But maybe they're just trying to do something new every single time. I just think it's, like, very... Some of the, like... I personally think that, like, the other open world activities are more fun. Things like the challenges where you have to dodge 5 times or kill a certain type of TD first are more entertaining. Yeah, I like those Dreamscape challenges a lot more, where you go up to them, enhanced mobs spawn, and then you get, like, you know, a bunch of chests from that, and then the puzzle is navigating the combat encounter to, like, fulfill the tasks. That's also, like, a puzzle to me, is like, oh, how am I gonna figure out this fight to make sure that I complete all the objectives in the right way, right? That to me is, like, also an engaging type of encounter, and it's more fun because I'm actually engaging with the combat. I prefer those a lot more. How satisfied are you with pipeline maintenance? Oh, is this the fucking... yeah, this one is, it's so forgettable. It's very forgettable and feels too automatic. Like a button or activity check versus an actual puzzle. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, that one is a little bit mid, if we're being entirely honest over here. Between Septimon and Fabricatorium of the Deep, which location has a better map interface? What the fuck are we? It's Septimon. Hell no. Like, this shit is kind of a pain in the ass to navigate. Not gonna lie, whatever the fuck they did here with, like, the thing, I'm gonna be real. It's kind of hard to use the map over here. Yeah, I feel like I'm just teleporting around in random fucking places. It's not that bad because there's only 5, but yeah, the separation between the zones is like, I prefer just zooming out and then just going to the place I want. You gotta click the buttons because the islands are too far apart for you to, like, zoom out and do it properly. Yeah, Septimon's just better. It feels more like the traditional exploration. This feels like there's space between them just because they thought it'd be cool to add space. Nah, that one's not that good. Why is the map interface for the Fabricatorium of the Deep not satisfying? It's difficult, it's not convenient, too limited. They know exactly what's wrong. They know literally all the problems with it. I could not sum it up better why this place sucks. That's literally all the things that I said. I think they got the reports. They listened to the reports, and they were just like, you know what? Let's just put these on the survey, and I'm pretty sure 95% of players are going to click exactly this. Compared to the one-piece Echo set, what is your experience with using two Echo sets to equip a Resonator? Using 2 sets is better. Using 2 sets is better. It rewards players who are, you know, more invested, and it isn't necessarily harder to farm. The problem is getting the pieces, where it's like old players have the advantage of they only need to farm 3 pieces because they're going to have old gear that's probably really good. But then actually acquiring the pieces is harder on this set than it is for the older sets. So you need less pieces, but it's harder to get them, which is like, it's like a weird push and pull. sort of thing that's going on over here. And my solution has been, once you do your free Nightmare Purification Field every single day, once you do the free one, it transforms it into a respawnable tacit field after you clear it for the first time. And then when you do the tacit field, you'll then get 7 to 8 echoes of the new set, and then you'll proceed to get tuners and tubes. And if they want to like fucking nerf it, right? If they want to nerf it, make it 4 pieces of the new set, and then 4 random boxes of other echoes, right? 4 Depths of the Elusive Realm boxes, or something like that. I don't know. It's just, there needs to be some sort of way, other than overworld farming, to grind these echoes after you've done the free run. Because the only way to get them in the overworld is to farm TDs that drop up to 3 sets. That's how the new sets work. You go to the Nightmare Fields, you get the guaranteed drops, or you farm the overworld, where the only mobs that drop them have 3 possible set types. So right off the rip, even if you're trying to use modifiers, you have to win the 1 out of 3 to even get something you can use a modifier on. Imagine if you don't have modifiers. So now you gotta win the 1 out of 3, and then also get the right main stat on top of it. Brother, you will be dying farming these in the overworld. That's why I don't recommend it to anybody. It is a pain in the ass farming a 3-piece set. Or, sorry, a TD that drops up to 3 sets. There's a big difference there. Using a 2 set is better overall, but there are some conditions to it, and that's based on how we're getting the 3-piece set. Why is using a 2 echo set better than using 1 complete echo set? With 2 partial sets, I can make better use of the echoes I've already upgraded, and that's it. And that's the thing. I don't think it's necessarily more easy to obtain echoes required for the 2 partial sets. That's why I'm not selecting this. I don't think that's necessarily true. I got lucky. I did 2 days of Nightmare Purification Fields, and I got, like, almost a perfect Ferlova build. But I'm still going to say I don't think it's a good system, because inherently, you're getting 7 to 10 a day. And when you do Tacit Fields, and you do a 2x claim 2 times, you get, like, 20 plus echoes. So it's slower than using your wave plates, and then you spend your wave plates on Tacit Fields, and it feels awful, because you're getting sets that you're not going to use. Overture, Rust, Sword, and Sun was included in the second half of version 2.5. How do you feel about the inclusion of an overture in the second half of each version? I would say it's relatively positive. I think that if they can up the production quality of the overture quest, add in a bit more voice acting during, like, the minigame portions, and, like, just make it feel more interactive beyond just, like, you know, unvoiced dialogue and, like, the stuff like that, I think it'd be great. I think that the overture quest to me was like a 7 out of 10 probably, and then it goes up to a 9 if the stuff in the minigame, actually in the card minigame, actually gets voiced. It would have been great to hear Augusta, great to hear Kato, great to hear all of those, like, individualized characters that they given a lot of personality, and then hear the stuff, right, as the cards are coming in. And if they level up the overture story like that, I think it's legitimately a great add, because Kachona's overture quest in 2.3 had that voicing and stuff like that, and it really did help elevate the experience. Okay, what the fuck is this? What the hell? Okay, alright, what the fuck? Holy shit. I don't even know where to move my camera. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. We'll probably read all the stuff on the left side first, and then... Which of the following main quest challenges or gameplay features do you still remember and find satisfying? I like this. This was fun. This was actually fun. This was an enjoyable puzzle for me. Promoted exploration plus was fun using the physics system to throw stuff. I like that. Version 1.0, create a path using a floating ruins in the Norfall Barrens. I don't really like this one too much. I think it's neat. I think it's neat when they do have, like, the pull down animation and all of that, but it does feel, like, very static. You do it, like, one time, and it's just kind of like, it feels like a ZZZ puzzle. Yeah, So it's like a one button click when the prompt comes up, and then like nothing else. It's like it is what it is, right? Version 1.1, lower the water level in the Myanlung chamber by manipulating the Chrono Sorter and collecting flare chests to break the seal put on Jue. I feel like that one was actually okay, because you got to use like all of these sort of like the time shifting and stuff like that. That one was okay. Yeah, it wasn't bad at all. Version 1.3, get on top of the anchor by completing the parallel perception and repairing the anchor by clearing the corrupted data. The platforming stuff was kind of cool because you got this done like super fast, and then you got to get like a nice view of like the background. I think it's a nice break. I think it's a nice like shift in like pacing for sure. Version 2.0, dodge attacks from the Dragon of Dirge and get through the Wailing Ascent. Oh hell yeah. Oh hell yeah. This was a fucking amazing. I know it only happens like once a day or something like that, but when it did occur, that was badass. Yeah, the dragon would come down like it's Dark Souls. Yeah, that was sick. Version 2.2, use gravity calibrators to adjust to change the direction and reach different locations. I thought this was kind of useless. I'm gonna be honest. After you do this like one time, it's like it actually kind of gets annoying because you can't engage in combat when you're upside down, and then like certain waypoints only work when you're like upside down, and then it like took forever to switch, and like it felt really clunky sometimes actually. And you do it one time during the story, and then you never do it again, and then, like, you can accidentally turn it on again when you're exploring the overworld, and it's just a pain in the ass. Yeah, yeah. Use Remnant Sparks to burn a path through the Dark Tide Vine. It's just another one-button click after you interact with other puzzles to go blow something up. I don't think it's anything special. Version 2.4, retrieve the spear to awaken the Giant of Glory and drain the water. This was sick, because you got to ride a fucking robot. If you don't think that this was badass, I think that there's something wrong with you. Yes, you literally woke up a giant fucking robot, and then you just saw it walk around the overworld. And you could, like, even climb on top of it, and then, like, ride along with it. That's just cool. Help for Lova escape by controlling the huge stones to push the pursuers. Okay, I like this one just because it looked stupid. I like this one because it looked fucking silly. You would just, like, watch these dudes, like, you would just press a button at the right time and then watch these dudes just get yeeted off a cliff. It was, I mean, it's, like, interactive enough, you gotta time it still, and it just looks so hilarious. Yeah, I'm down for that, because it's a very, like, low commitment. It's low commitment, because it's not like you're, like, going ahead. It's not like these puzzles, where this is, like, preventing your progress or something like that. And then, like, oh, you're just gonna go over, and then, like, this is just being used to open the door. This, you're, like, directly interacting with, like, enemies, and then, you know, you get to watch some goofy animations. So, yeah, I'm a fan of this one. Pretend to be a worshiper and move forward with the procession of worshippers. I mean, this one was, like, both good and bad. This was basically, like, a QTE one, but it was also, like, oh, not gonna lie. It was fun for the first 15 seconds. It took too long. That's what I'll say. I think it would have been good if it was like 15 seconds shorter. But like, it went on for a long time. Like, it was like a long time. If it was shorter, it would be good. That's my take on it. That's why I'm going to put it, just so I can give that feedback. Version 2.5, use orchestration to navigate through fast-moving objects and laser fields. I mean, this one's just cool. Like, time slow into mechanics. This, like, imagine if this is just in the Cyberpunk collab. You get to play as, like, David, and this is your I don't know how you pronounce it, like, fucking Sandevistan, however you say that. The time slow thing in Cyberpunk, right? This is probably, a beta test of that mechanic. So, yeah. Yeah, Sandevistan. However you fucking say it, whatever. Now let's move on to the right side. We actually did the whole left side first. Version 1.0. Collect musical essence in the Grand Library to activate the drum. This was ass. Yeah, no, this was kind of booty cheeks. Yeah, this one was worse than the Myanlung Chamber one for sure. This one was more fun because you actually get to, like, see the environment and stuff. This was you just going to, like, random armpits of, like, a building to go find shit. Yeah, that one was not that great. Version 1.1, collect flare chests in the Truth Seeker's Pass by manipulating the Chrono Sorter and unlocking Photon Vault to create a pathway to Jinsei. This one was fine. I actually think Mount Firmament's exploration was some of the best that we've had in the game. And think about it this way, guys. A lot of people are concerned about flight being removed. You would not be able to do, like, exploration like you had in 1.1 if you were promoting flight everywhere. And I think 1.1's exploration was, low-key, some of the best that the game has had. Because, like, the puzzles, interaction, the stuff like that is pretty solid. And I did it so quickly because it was so much fun that, like, low-key I forgot about it because I did it so fast on, like, day 1 of the patch. Alright, version 1.3, use portals to arrive in the port city of Guizhou before its destruction and get to the beginning of the end. I mean, this was fucking sick. Let's just be honest here, right? The 1.3 finale, or close to the finale, as you were, like, climbing up all the stuff to get to Shorekeeper, or to get to, like, the port city of Guizhou and then deal with it with Shorekeeper, that was badass. Escape from the Tethys facility and defeat the fallacy of no return? Hell yeah, that was fucking sick. You got to run across a train, bro. Like, what do you mean? Like, I know there are some people that are saying, oh, it was so uninteractive. I don't give a fuck. It was badass, bro. This is literally why I think 1.3 was one of the best updates ever for the game. Like, you just have to show this still. Like, just look at what's on the screen. What can I say, brother? Version 2.0, control Carlotta and use scatter prisms to freeze guards and surveillance cameras to get to the depths of the vault. I actually like this one. Because it was like a great way to incorporate the character mechanics of the kit into, like, the actual gameplay. And, like, the lore and the story. And it, like, made sense. It's like Carlotta, like, fucking with her own defense. The flavor of this puzzle was very good. It's Carlotta Montelli invading the Montelli vault and then using her forte powers to, like, steal from herself. That's very strong, like, lore flavor for, like, a puzzle, and I think that inherently makes it pretty satisfying, because it's, like, lining up so well. Version 2.2, use a plunging attack to make the Statue of the Justice descend, and thus make the blocks below make it move. I mean, it's like a cool little cutscene thing. It's not really like a mechanic at all. You mainly do it so you can see the animation of, like, Rover slamming down, and then they fuck everything up, or they fix everything by breaking stuff. That's kind of like the theme of the region. It is what it is. It's just, yeah, it's like a superhero landing. It's just a cool animation. Version 2.4, control Cartithia to ride the rail and destroy the experimental unit. It appears that Kuro Games has listened again. You remember all those people bitching about this QTE not being failable? Yeah, I mean, people can complain about it. I just think it's like, it is what it is. I mean, this is the thing for me. It was, in all respects, right, not like a net loss to my experience. And I guess people really are of the mindset that being able to fail would make it better for them. Which is cool, I guess. But I guess if you do it properly, you would never have found out that you could fail. And so I guess my headcanon is this. If nobody ever actually failed it, and everyone just did the QTE, and you found out that you couldn't fail, or you never knew that you couldn't fail, would you like it more? Maybe, right? I think a lot of people have a soured opinion about this one because they kind of just jumped on the bandwagon of, oh my gosh, you can just do it without doing anything. But you probably clicked the QTE buttons the first time you did it. And if you enjoyed it the first time that you did it, and then suddenly you don't enjoy it anymore, like in 2020 hindsight, you actually hate it now because you found out afterwards that you could fail it, or that you couldn't fail it. Is that actually something that changed your experience when you were doing it in the moment? Probably not. I would dare say most people actually interacted with it and did the QTEs, didn't know that you couldn't fail it, and then thought it was fine. Then you found out afterwards, wow, you can't fail this QTE, and now you think it's shit. Not gonna lie, I think that's what happened. I genuinely think that's what happened. I'm being serious over here. A lot of you have probably had that same exact mindset. That being said, I think this shit just took forever and it was kind of boring. Like, that's my take on it. I think this segment took way too long. That's why I don't like it. I don't I don't hate it though because you can't fail the QTE. It's entirely a different. I have an entirely different reason for it. Use orchestration alters to open doors to different areas. It's okay. It's just this to me is like it's not really that flavorful of a puzzle. This is like them incorporating Frolova's mechanics into a puzzle. But it's like, what does Frolova have to do with numbers ascending up to 5? Nothing really, right? This to me is way worse than the Carlotta puzzles because the Carlotta puzzles make a ton of sense in the lore. This one is like, okay, we're slowly ascending, we're ascending numbers up to 5. Like, why? Why? It's the melody? Okay, like, wouldn't it have been way cooler to, like, play a musical track? To, like, I don't know, play, like, a fucking Guitar Hero thing? Low-key, I would have preferred that. If you had, like, a version of Guitar Hero, and then Frolova would, like, play music, and then you do that for, like, 10 seconds, like a little, like a 10, 15-second track, and then just open up the doors that way. Yeah, like a rhythm game probably would have made more sense for the orchestrator, instead of, like, fucking counting numbers up to 5. That's just my take. But, I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. Trigger the trap set by the Primus and split the water to escape. I mean, this just looks fucking badass, right? This is badass and looks very cool. I mean, yeah, it's I'm gonna say it's good if that's what it is. Control Frolova to lose the pursuers from the order and obtain the music piece. I didn't even so this is a puzzle over here that was like straight up. I forgot it was even a puzzle. I think you just walk on the catwalk and then there's no barriers at all. There's no obstacles. And you just walk to the location. But yeah, that's all of these. Holy shit, that was a lot. Maybe I'm a premier survey taker. Maybe Kuro Games greatly appreciates my opinion, and that's why they gave me so much to choose from. I don't think any of y'all are gonna get this test. I don't think any of y'all are gonna get this question. I think this is only for the top 1% woo-wah players. I got this too? Nah, you guys didn't. Stop fucking lying. They only gave it to me. What are your expectations for future puzzles or gameplay features available during the main quest? I'd like to see a combination of great visual puzzles that also are backed up by the lore of the characters on the quest. Carlotta's puzzle in 2.0 was great because it relied on her ability to freeze and was also her invading her own family's vault. If future puzzles incorporate mechanics of characters' kits like Augusta's magnetism or Ayuno's fortune telling, that would be supreme. It's stuff like that, right? Like, I want to see a magnetism-focused puzzle when you're going off on the hunt with Augusta. A fortune-telling sort of puzzle when you're going off with, like moon reading. I don't fucking know. Like, shit like that. That's way more in line with the character. It gets you more absorbed in the lore as you're doing the puzzles. Based on your experience in the game so far, do you have any additional feedback or suggestions? Kuro Games, please add in more combat events, especially during patches with less content. I actually believe 2.4 could have had one of its combat events moved to 2.5 to fill up the time in the patch. You also could have simply ran another co-op hologram event as well, since it's been almost 6 months since the last one. I know this patch is shorter, but its second phase is one of the worst in the history of the game in terms of actually having things to do, leading to a lot less hype for a great version like 2.6. So yeah, that's my point of view, in that because 2.5 is like so fucking dry, especially in the second half after the story's been done, the issue is that 2.6's hype is naturally not going to be as high because people are not playing the game as much right now. Also, in Wuthering Waves, you need to fix the HP inflation that has come in this reset. You need to add a new gold token that universally buffs all teams or reduce the HP so that it doesn't feel like you need a team that can use the gold tokens to clear. Right now, the game mode is literally not balanced. Unless you have Furlova or the Mono Fusion team. That feels pay to win and unlike anything you have ever put into the end game before. However, this is what I'll say as like a final note over here. There's a chance that the updates that are coming in 2.6 to like Burning Waves and whatever the fuck else that shit is will just fix this mode completely. And so I'm not gonna like straight up doomer them going on with this sort of stuff. Maybe the Burning Waves thing is the solution that's required. Yeah, but for now, yeah. It's not too good. Also, buff 4-star characters that already are in the game to add negative statuses to them. Alto, Yanwu, etc. And that'll be that. That is our survey, ladies and gentlemen. It has been submitted, and we'll just have to see what Kuro Games does with it. In reflection of this survey, I think that there was a lot of like important line items on there. I think that Kuro has already received a fair number of reports some of the stuff that people are unsatisfied with in the update, and they kind of like preemptively put them in there with, I think, you know, the main points of feedback being A, the event structure and kind of like the content that's actually available in the patch, B, the design of the Fabricatorium of the Deep, and C, just the idea of like puzzles, overworld exploration, and all of that, because I'm sure that they're gearing up for version 3.0. They're in the middle of development of that new region, and they kind of want to keep in mind, what are players enjoying the most out of what's in the current update? What have they enjoyed the most across the history of the game? And how can we take what players enjoy the most and put it into 3.0? So yeah, this to me is like the 3.0 prep survey. The fact that they're going out, they're trying to gather all this information and get it ready for development, to me, is pretty damn awesome. And we've also let them know about our grievances naturally in other parts of the game, but there's probably separate teams going on. I doubt the guy that's balancing Weewa is the same person that's developing 3.0. That sounds like different strokes for different folks. Let me know what you all think. Peace.